What's going on, everyone? It's DV, and so I often get asked, DV, what should I build on my island? And you can see my island is clearly empty here, and with my recent reset, I haven't actually rebuilt anything, so this is a great opportunity for me to show you how to build your island and what you should build on it. So, you know, with a game like Islands in its current state, it's easy to get overwhelmed with so many things you can put on your island, so let me show you how crazy this is. Look at all these workbenches. So look at, I've got like this thing, I've got this thing, I've got a firework barrel, I've got electrical workbench, and this is not even it. This is like, you got carpentry, you got floral benches, like look at all the benches you've got. So there's so much to build. And then if you go inside the tier 3, you know, look at this. So this gets a little crazy, right? So like, what do you build? What do you build on your island? And a lot of players get overwhelmed with this. And a lot of the times it feels like you're dismantling a computer or a car engine and you got all these parts that you took out and you don't know what you actually need. So this is where this guide comes in, where I will do my best to walk you through building an optimal island. Of course, you may need to grind for some of the things that I'm going to be showing on my island, but I'm going to also assume you can afford a few of these things as well, and you can buy a lot of these things from published islands. So we get all these traders, and that's what's great is you can actually easily go and buy these instead of having to grind for it. I always recommend grinding if you can, because that's kind of more fun in my opinion. But if you don't like grinding in games, if that's overwhelming for you and that would cause you to quit a game like this, then maybe just going out and trading for it would be okay. So if you've never played Islands before, definitely check out my tutorial video. I've got a basic starter video that you can watch that kind of shows you a little bit about how to play. So before you start grinding for random stuff that you might not even need on your island, let's go ahead and get started with this. And before I begin, if you don't mind hitting that like button and smash the subscribe button so that it's no longer red, it's gray, so it doesn't look like, you know, because I mean, come on, even though we like the color red, we really don't want that subscribe button red, okay? And also turn on notifications so you don't miss videos. A lot of players, you know, because the style of the game, there's not really an objective, right? So a lot of you are actually like wondering, like, DB, what do I need to build? What do I need to grind for? And this is really the video for you so that you can kind of get an idea of what you should be working on. One thing I will tell you is there's going to be some stuff in here as well that I'm going to show you that you really don't need. But things like conveyor ramps you don't need. You're not going to need copper press and some stuff. So there's a bunch of, even like honey press you don't need. You don't need a lot of stuff that's in this workbench. So you're going to be able to ignore a lot. So like, you don't need to worry about that. You don't need to worry about that. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's really optional that you really don't, even like the cheese maker you don't need. So, you know, in your head, I'm going to try to guide you as much as possible in this video on what you can expect out of an awesome island. So let's go and get started. So first up, you're going to obviously need some kind of foundation, but over here, you know, you see you got your resource islands. You are going to need resource islands. If you don't have resource islands yet, they will spawn on your island. I think it's like every 20 hours. So you're pretty much going to get, at least as of this video, you're going to get 2 gold islands and you're going to get 2 copper islands. So you're going to be able to use those for resources. What I will tell you now is you can ignore the copper islands for now. We don't really need copper. Copper's kind of broken until they finish the factory update. You don't really need copper, okay? So you could pretty much just do this and get them out of the way. Pretty much what I do is I leave them as floating blocks out there. So they look like this. So that's what it'll look like. It's pretty much just floating out there. You can eventually cover it up if you want to, but I like to do that because even if you do get a drill later, you could pretty much set the drill directly on top of it. You don't actually need any of the landmass. Check this out. So see, I could put that drill right on top of it if I wanted to. So first up, you want to clean up your space. So I'm going to get rid of all this stuff and clean it all up. And pretty much what you're going to do if you're starting out fresh, like if your island was just recently reset, I would actually fill in any spaces and pretty much get rid of all your trees, get rid of everything. I also kind of just clean this up. I like to remove all the stone that's under the island. I think it's kind of useless. It's stone that's basically taking up your block limit. So if you ever want to make like a really, really big island, then you're going to want to get rid of all that. So I'm going to go through the main items you're going to need on your island. So we're going to need a tree farm, right? So you're going to have some trees. So if you're going to do anything other than these colors right here, pretty much these blocks here, then you're going to probably want to plant some flowers. So you're going to want a flower garden. If you have not watched my video where I show you how to make all the different colors of blocks in the game, so like pink, green, you know, cyan, like if blue, all that kind of stuff. So if you need that tutorial, I'm going to link that video in the description below so you can check that out. But that's going to show you how to make all kinds of other blocks. So like see these orange ones, I've got orange, I've got red, purple, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to do like a gold and purple island, you could do it to make it, especially if you're a Lakers fan, that'd probably go well. But you know, so whatever your color desire is, you can pretty much do it. But if you're going to need anything other than these colors, because the nice thing about these colors is you just need resources that you can farm on your own island. You don't need flowers at all. So if you don't want flowers, you don't need a flower garden at all. But if you're going to want purple, for example, you're going to need a flower farm. So let's go ahead and let's assume you're going to need some flowers. You're going to need a tier 3 workbench to pretty much build whatever you need. You're also going to need an anvil. So you're going to definitely need one of these on your island so that you can pretty much work and build like conveyors and stuff, because we're going to need all these kinds of parts. And so we're going to have a space for your workshop. You're going to want a house for just for the sake of like living in. I don't ever really build a house for myself because I don't really live in my game, but for role players or people that really like to decorate, then a house is going to be really nice. And you're going to need a carpentry workbench right here. So let's see, where's my carpenter? Yes, there it is. So you're going to need one of these to build all your furniture. So, you know, you can see I'm missing, the only reason why I'm missing all my blueprints is I had the devs reset my account completely. So that wiped out all my blueprints at one point. But otherwise, you're going to need a carpentry table so you can make like beds and stuff. So that's what that's going to be needed for. And then, so we're going to make a dedicated space for our work area. And then what I'd recommend is definitely set up a vending area, even if it's small, even if it's like for a couple transactions here and there. You're definitely going to want one of these so that, unless you're in hardcore mode, then you don't even need these. But I think most of you are going to want one of these so that you can pretty much do your typical transactions. So like if someone's giving you money, or if you're, you know, doing a trade, this is the best and safest way to do that. You know, maybe someone wanted to buy some of your like cakes or something, you can sell that to them. Or if you wanted to buy something from someone, you could do that. And then you're going to want a storage area. So you're going to need some chests. Let's just use this for now, just as a reminder that we're going to need a storage area. So you're going to have an area that you're going to actually have like medium chests, not these. These are industrial chests. I need to make some still, but you're basically going to need some of these. Again, some of the stuff is completely optional. It's up to you if you want to build a house, if you want to build a work area, if you're ever going to want wood. I think you need it. So these are the things that you should have, not whether or not you want them. This is the template, okay? And then what I would do is also a showcase area. What is a showcase area? The showcase area is pretty much where your trophies are going to go. So you're going to have trophies, you're going to have display cases and stuff. So this is a cool area for you to show off like all your gear and all your weapons. So you can have like, you know, your weapon stands. So you're going to have all kinds of cool stuff in here. You're also going to need a hobby area if you want, you know, some place for your friends to like kind of play around. So I'm going to put a leaderboard over here. If you don't have hobby stuff, you can also buy it from other islands. And even though it is a Game Pass item, it doesn't require you to have a Game Pass to use it. It's really cool that you don't actually have to have a Game Pass to use those items. So if someone else bought it, just have them make it for you, or just buy it off their island. I'm going to skip the electrical for now. And then we're also going to need a still farm. So we're going to be doing a still farm, and I'm going to show you how to do that shortly. So again, the only reason why I'm placing stuff down is just as notes of things we're going to have to build. And then we also need a donation area. So again, I'm going to go through all this again. So don't worry if you're losing track, it's okay. So we're going to need a donation area. And then we're also going to want a food farm. If you want to do any kind of food, I'm just going to drop down a food processor, but food processors are great for being able to make food. And you can also do a cooking table. If you don't want like a really complicated auto farm, you can just do a cooking table. In fact, you know, I'm just going to put a cooking table down because you can pretty much cook whatever you want with a cooking table. And the last thing we want to do is an area for our cow. And so we'll put a little haystack down. I don't actually have a haystack, but we're going to put the cow, we're going to put the animal workbench down. So we're going to need some place for our cow. Okay. So this is pretty much, I know there's a lot going on here, but this is an island in a nutshell. So we're also going to need one of these for our gold, because we're going to want to smelt gold, and we're also going to want to drill, right? So we're going to want to drill our gold. We're going to want to smelt. So this is pretty much our gold farm. And then we're going to have another smelter that's going to be for everything else. So this is going to be for anything else we want to smelt. Typically it's going to be for irons, and we're also going to need this for our steel. So you're going to definitely need another smelter here. So you basically need 2 smelters, maybe 3 if you're not going to join your gold farms together. So you see how my gold farm's over there and this gold farm's over here. We're actually going to adjust that in a minute. I'm going to show you how to do that. So yeah, this is it. So let's go ahead and get started with our layout here. So the next step here, now that we know like all the things we're going to make, if you don't know all the rooms you're going to need in your island, you can't really plan your island out. And what happens is a lot of people don't ever do this planning stage. What they do is they just start putting blocks down, and then they're like, oh, where do I put my trees? And you know, where do I put this? And where do I put that? And it all gets like really crazy, right? You end up creating like these little sections over here. And how many times have you gone to like a published island and like their stores are all over the place? Like their island is a big mess. And so we're not going to make a mess out of our island. This is actually just a list of all the things we want to put on it so we can plan around it. So what's going to happen is, first thing, you need to know where you spawn in. So let's drop down, and there's our spawn. So this is where everyone's going to pretty much enter into your island, right? This is the first impression they get. And what I would recommend is always make sure the vendings, even if you're not going to be buying and selling a lot, your vending machines should be pretty nearby and easy to access for them. So we're going to pretty much say that in this general area here, there's going to be vendings, right? So it doesn't need to be a lot of them. If you're going to do a big shop, then your shop could be over here in a big room. It's okay. Or it could be in front. Either way, you need to be able to have some logical flow to your island so people aren't lost. Now, the other thing I want to say is we are going to make a multi-level island, and it's not just for looks, but it's also for flow. So the reason why is I don't want a whole lot going on down here unless I need it. So I will tell you though, the problem is we do have these little resource islands, and so we're kind of stuck with them. So again, before I start building, I do want to make sure I can get this little gold island closer to that one. It may not work the first time, but what you need to do is get your pickaxe out, and you're going to farm this out so that it can spawn somewhere else. And hopefully it's going to spawn a little closer to the other one. It might actually spawn on the other side of my island, but hopefully it's going to be closer no matter what. So we're going to get this out of here, and it should spawn pretty quickly because this island island's a little older and I haven't had a spawn in about a day. So hopefully that will respawn pretty quickly. So we're going to give it a little bit of time. I probably will put my house up top because most people don't need access to my house or my work area. So my house is probably going to be up there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look straight down just where I'm at, and we're going to test it and make sure I put it in the right spot. So just drop down and I should spawn on top of the glass. Okay, I did. However high you want it to go. I don't want mine too high, but you can pretty much go as high as you want on this. I want it to be fairly high, but not too high. And a lot of the times people go straight up on this. I'm actually going to just go to the side a little bit. There we go. Our gold just respawned. Sweet. So it is a little closer to this resource. Actually, it's really close. That's perfect. That's a good spot right there. That's perfect. Okay, so look at that worked out really, really well for us. Okay, that's where our house is going to be. Our house is going to be floating right here. It's going to be a little floating island, and this donation area is going to stay down here because our donations are going to be at the bottom. Our storage area can be close to our house, so that's okay. We'll take that out. Our showcase can be pretty much down here because we want to show it off, right? We don't need people going up to our house to see it. Our garden can actually be on a separate island, so we're going to make a separate island for our garden. But again, we're planning out every section, right? So it's going to be over here. That's where our garden's going to be, is up here. So this is going to be our gold farm. So what I could do is for the trees, I can actually set an area, like a grove area over here somewhere. And it can make it like rolling hills if you wanted to. You can also watch my, if you want to auto farm trees. I'm not going to auto farm trees, but if you want to auto farm trees, definitely check out my auto farm video. I've done a bunch of them for trees. There's one with conveyors, so you can pretty much auto farm using conveyors. There's one with macros. There's all kinds of auto farms that you can do for trees, and you can get thousands of wood. I think I was able to do about 6,000 wood on my conveyor one, just over a matter of, I think it was 4 or 5 hours. You get like 6,000. It's crazy. It's crazy powerful. But we're going to go ahead and set this grove up over here. So the trees are going to go on this side. Actually, I want a couple groves though. I think it'll be cool to have a couple groves. Maybe I do like a maple area, and then on the other side, maybe I do like regular saplings and stuff. So here's my thought. I think I'm going to make a circular type one. So it'll be like kind of circular around. So that'll be pretty cool looking. That's just a design. You don't have to do it that way, but I'm going to do it on my island that way. And then across, because I want it to be a little higher. So we're going to create like a slope, right? Kind of like it feels like a hill, and it's going to look like that. And then let's just go ahead and make our platform here. So this is just going to wrap around. So we're going to do like a circular kind of wrap around for our base. And what's cool is if you do this well, you can kind of block your island resources too. So you don't have to see all these smelters and stuff. So you can kind of block what that looks like. Just going to kind of do a diagonal here. What's also nice about this is it's going to create a bowl. So see this? If I do this like hillside system like this all the way around, it's going to create like a bowl for us. So it's not so overwhelming and such. So the nice thing about that too is pretty much this is going to be a part of the hill as well. So we can kind of build this up so that you kind of enter the hillside a little bit to get to the portal. So we'll just build this around just so we remember that that's how that's gonna work. One thing I will tell you is you do not need copper currently. So you can pretty much ignore copper for this. Copper is kind of useless during this update, at least the current stage of the game. Once it's useful again, I'll start farming it again. Just go buy your rage blade if you need to. If you need the red bronze ingots and you need to make a red bronze refinery, I have videos on how to make an auto red bronze refinery. You can check that video out. I will link that in the description as well. If you want a rage blade and you want to make your own rage blades, that's the way to go. I don't think most players in the game need to farm or make refineries. They don't need the rage blades. That means they don't really need the copper right now. Nothing's really useful for copper other than gearboxes and stuff, and you don't need to make gearboxes yet. So we're pretty much going to come around here and we're going to block this gold area. So our smelter and our drills are going to go over here. So we're going to do that in a little bit. Our donation area is going to be pretty good. We can actually make like a little barn area for our cow here. The obby and stuff we can pretty much do at the top here from our house. Our showcase can be as part of the cliffside. Still farm, we're going to actually make somewhere else. So we're going to probably, put that maybe under the base or something so it's not such an eyesore. This is our work area. I'm going to replace that in a minute. Okay, so we know what we need to do. This is going to be pretty easy. So first up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on our center area here. But in order to be able to do that, we do need our kind of path here for the actual trees that I'm going to place down. So let's go ahead and start working on that. I'm going to go ahead and circle this around, and I'm going to kind of try to hide these farms back here. So I don't really want people to know that I have gold farms when they first come into my base because it's just kind of an eyesore. Factories just look like factories, and no one likes to see factories for the most part. So I'm going to actually kind of just do a little bit of this weird path here, and it just helps relieve a little bit of that pressure of being perfect, And so you can kind of design around your islands too, like your little resource islands. You can kind of design around those. That might help you a little bit. And then we can also add a lake and stuff at the bottom. So it's going to look pretty cool. Once we're done with this nature kind of look, it's going to look really neat. I will start converting this island a little bit later to the black and red kind of look. So don't worry if you're wondering like, what DV, what happened to your island? It's okay. We're gonna come back to that pretty soon. I need to go buy some more grass though. You can see right here, it's already working out. So we're gonna come around. I'm probably gonna go bring this out again. and then we're gonna come back in. So it's gonna look like a nice bowl here. And in some areas I might even go a little higher, so it feels like a little hillside. The other thing I would suggest, a lot of people don't realize, like, you can build really fast by this angle. See the angle that I'm at? A lot of people do this and then they wonder why this happens a lot. But if you go at an angle, you can pretty much just see where my mouse is. It's in the middle of the block. You don't have as many problems with that. All right, so that came out, and then we're gonna go this way, but we're kind of heading towards the portal. Remember, angles are better. Don't do squares. That's the other tip I would give you, is don't go square with it. Angles are always good. So don't like do a box like this. That's a very ugly island. I always recommend just kind of, you know, go sideways, go like this way. And that'll actually look really good. It makes your island look 10 times better. Okay, so we got our shape here. This is our border, right? This is our boundary. We're gonna go out 2 every now and then, like that. Because you go 1, and if you do 1 block, it goes steeper. If you go like 2 blocks out, it looks a little bit more natural, like it's a hill, right? And then you're gonna want to do this just to make it look a little bit more natural. Again, we're making kind of like Minecraft-ish style hillsides versus trying to go like exactly like it's my spire. We're not doing my spire design, and sometimes it's okay to do like a little steep cliff here. See how I'm doing like a little cliff side on these corners, and then we're going to kind of bring it back out, and sometimes we can flatten out like that. So we're looking at variety here. We're just trying to break things up. So a little bit of randomness is okay, and try to stay as much as hollow as possible. See this side? No one's going to see the inside of this, okay? Unless they kind of travel around on your island, and you can always seal that up later. So you can see how this is looking. It's already looking really good. So we're going to get this kind of natural look. So I'm going to go and time lapse this so you can see how I built all the way around. We're gonna actually build up over here and start getting our trees in. We're gonna do birch, we're gonna do maple and pine. And then what you could do is you can intermix a little bit of pine in between them, because pine doesn't require much space. We're gonna put some birch. Birch doesn't really require much space either. So, all right, we got some sprouting up already. Again, when it's time to farm wood, we got a ton of wood on our island that we can farm from. So when they first come in, they're gonna start right here, right? And then if they jump off, they're gonna end up at the very top. So that's why we do this. So the first time they log in, it's gonna look like that. And they're gonna get pushed right here. And the reason why we put this one right here, not right there, is we don't want to get stuck in the block. So we just put that block there, and then we have a little bit of opening so we don't get stuck inside of it. So down here, we're gonna actually make a little area. We're gonna put water all through here. We're gonna make a little pond that goes through. All right, so we got a pretty cool looking area here, which you can imagine would be water, right? So it's already blue, so you can kind of get an idea of what it would look like. And then we're gonna actually go and make a little bridge just for looks. And then on this side, we're going to do a little bit of our vending. And then on this side, we're going to do a little bit of a barn, so somewhere around here probably. So we could pretty much make an area for maybe 3 vending machines right there. All right, so there's gonna be a little bridge here. It's not gonna look like that, don't worry. Then over here, we're gonna do a little showcase area. So pretty much there's gonna be a building, and then we'll put another building like right here. You know what we could do? Instead of a workshop at the top, I can actually do a workshop right here as well. In fact, what we'll probably do is make it look like it's kind of going over like a deck. It's gonna go over the water, and then I'll make the water kind of go under. That'll look really cool. So it'll look like kind of like swamp, kind of, you know, like a swamp area. So while you're building stuff, it's often normal to get inspired to do something really cool. So it's gonna come all the way around. All right, that'll look pretty cool, because this is gonna be all water. I'm gonna need a lot of blue blocks. So I would not recommend this technique. I would actually just make all yours grass, unless you can afford the blue blocks. But that'll look cool, because you know, have a little bridge over here to get to the vendings. And we can always expand this out. If we need more vendings temporarily, we just kind of just drop them down right there. And then this is gonna be where the cow is gonna be. It's gonna probably be like maybe right here. We'll have to adjust it a bit, but we're really just kind of laying things out so that before we start building it. So this is going to be a hut right here, another hut, and another hut. So I'm going to go start on that tower over here. Here's going to be the edge of the tower. So let's go ahead and drop down. And if you've never built a tower, it's actually pretty easy, but we're going to need a lot of stone, and we're going to need some gravel as well as some bricks. So, all right. So this part is not really required, like I said, but we're going to go ahead and make a tower anyway. But you could just do like a little floating island. You can even use it out of glass. You can make it out of grass. You can make it out of, you know, coal blocks, whatever you want to do. But this is going to be where my house is. So I'm going to have a tower for my house. It's going to be kind of a wizard tower. So right here is the drop off. And now we just need to do the sides. So we're going to put gravel in it every now and then. And we're going to put bricks in it every now and then as well. Just kind of give it like a cool looking natural look. That is looking pretty good. And the way I had to set it up, I'm just going to show you real quick before we get into the bridge. So you can come up here and then you can look out the window. So this needs a little bit of fine tuning, but so I'm not going to finish it in this video, but you can get an idea of how to make your own tower, or if you wanted to make a house. I'm actually going to be making some buildings down here. You can use that as a house template as well. So let's go ahead and do our bridge real quick. Let's get this. It's going to be a little wider too. So let's get our stairs, and typically odd numbers are going to always be better than even. So we're going to do something like that. And then let's go across here. And thankfully we have upside down stairs now, so we can make this look really good. So you can basically do this and then flip them up, because that looks like really weird when it's a hard edge. And then we're going to do slabs at the top. It's a little tall, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this down a little bit. It's a little tall. All right, now we're going to use slabs. There we go. And now we're going to use the fence. All right, so that's a much better size. So it's way too tall. So we're going to go over here now and get this next step ready. So we need to start working on our dock kind of set up over here. And then I got to get some furniture. So we got our 2 huts. We got to do our foundation now. I'm going to use planks for this. And what we're going to do is these parts right here are going to turn into outward stairs to give us our deck. Like this. Now we're just going to fill this in. I'm just going to go horizontal with it. I know it looks a little weird. We're going to go across here. We're going to use these slabs to get a little bit more of our deck kind of appearance here. There we go. And then we're going to build our walls. I'm kind of thinking about like just keeping this like a flat roof. Maybe it just comes out a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to put some glass panes in the back and the front. All right, so this is looking pretty good. This is going to be our workshop. And then I'm going to put this in the corner as well. That's better. So you come in here and you see the workbench. Get all the other stands in here that we're going to want. You don't need a brewing stand. I have one. You don't really need these. And I would do the same for animal workbench. You don't really need an animal workbench, but I have one, so I'm going to put it in there. Let's see. I also have a cooking table. We definitely need our carpentry in here. I also have a lighting station that I need in here. Coloring station. You know, I'm going to get rid of the animal workbench. I never use it. We'll go ahead and put these benches together because they all look kind of the same. Honestly, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put like an overhang on these, so that kind of comes over the top, something like that. That looked pretty cool. Yeah, that looks good. I'm not going to worry about like where my wood grains are facing. I know a lot of you freak out about that. You're like, DV, you're making my OCD go crazy with the direction of your wood grains. Nah, that's okay. Works fine for me. All right, that building's pretty much complete. I didn't do the doors because I need pine and I don't feel like farming pine right now, but that looks pretty cool. It's kind of what I was going for. It's a little tall. I would actually say you probably don't need to go as tall as me, but I think once we get the water in here, it'll look all right. But I think it probably could have been like 1 block shorter, you know? I don't have a lot of blue on me, so I can only make 12 blue blocks, so I'm going to need to buy a bunch of blue. Let's go find it. So I got a bunch of blue clay blocks, and it cost me a lot. Let me tell you, it cost me a lot of money. So I would not recommend doing water if you can. Unless you can afford it. It's really expensive to make. So I basically had to mix it up a little bit with cyan, because cyan for some reason was going for 100,000 coins less each. So each of these were like between 200,000 and 300,000 for each block. It's absolutely bonkers. It shouldn't cost this much, but that's how it goes. Supply and demand. If a lot of people want this stuff, then they're going to pay for it. Okay, so this is all sealed up and the water's looking pretty good. Now to give it that natural look, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start putting the glass blocks, the blue glass on top of it. So what I'm gonna do is initially I'm gonna just kind of spread these out a bit. So if I do run out, at least I kind of spread it out enough. So just kind of spread it all the way around like this. If you didn't see my water and fire video that I did with Fossil White, definitely check that out in the description below as well. It's actually pretty cool. Gives you some like ideas on how to make fake water if you're gonna try to do something like this. All right, so we're gonna put some sea lanterns in the bottom here so we can get it a little brighter, kind of spread these around. We're also gonna do the little tent thing here. I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, actually. Let's go and get our fence post. All right, and let's get some, put a slab there, put a slab there, and pretty much that's how we're gonna do our barn as well. That looks pretty good. I mean, it doesn't look amazing, but it matches, like everything's kind of consistent here. That's what's important. Get this barn made real quick. I'm gonna actually do it a little bit, so it's gonna be a little further back like this. And this is gonna come out to about right here. Actually, I'm gonna bring it in a little bit because cows don't need like a huge barn. I'll put a little fence here, and this one's gonna be right here. That's kind of cool. Okay, so I like how the one time I don't use the the animal workbench. I need it now, actually. We need space for the trough. Get the rocks out. Okay, there we go. And we need a plow. Let's get our plow in there because we don't want grass inside there. There we go. And we can do a little bit of pathing here. I typically like to do a little bit of this, especially when you're doing natural kind of looks. Just a little pathways. It's kind of nice. So you can see, like, you know, general walkways should be a little worn like that. And then you come over here and it should be a little bit more worn down here as well, like that, because people, you know, like to go over there, right? So it'd be like that. And then pretty much we're going to need covering for this. So we're going to use the same technique we did over here. And then what we're going to do is this very corner is going to be on this one. So let's put this here, and then we're going to do the top like that. And then we're going to do the same thing we did over there. There we go. And then we're going to fill this in again with planks, or slabs, I mean. Slabs, not planks. Come on, DB, get yourself together. That, and then we're going to fill this in after I clean this up. Perfect. So there is our little enclosure here. All right, let's put the station here. We need a hay bed. Okay, so I need 50 wheat, and I need some wheat. So what we can do is we can put a little wheat garden here for the cow, and I'm going to go buy some wheat seeds. The other thing I'm going to do is, so the trough is going to actually go on the outside, and then the bed's going to be inside. And then over here, we're going to do the same kind of little path thing. So this is another great opportunity for you to use grass. So usually grass is useless, but if you have a bunch of tall grass, I would actually kind of surround the bottom here to make it look not so flat with the actual like ground, because right now it looks really even with the ground. And so by adding the grass, it adds a little bit of like transition, I guess, if you want to call it that. Adds a little separation from like the water itself. And as it grows, just, you know, go grab it. Like if you see something like this, just go pick it up and then go return it, put it next to the water. Looks so much better. All right, it looks pretty good, especially at night. That looks really cool. So let's go ahead and move on to the next piece. So we do have our trading area here. We're going to want a donation area next. So what I would do is typically you want to put your donation area next to your vending if you can. And so what I would probably do is make a little donation area. Maybe like I would do it like pretty close by. I'm just trying to figure out a good spot for it. I would say probably like maybe over here. And what we can do is just make it kind of like a part of the hillside here. That might be kind of cool. Let's go ahead and get this out and make it look like it's built in a little bit. So we're going to go basically put our stairs here so that when they drop stuff, it rolls down, and then they're going to basically come down into this. And then we're going to have a little section here with the walls. So they're going to walk up to this and they're going to drop their stuff. So let's go and put that up like that. And let's go and cut this out so it's kind of presentable looking. We don't want it to be completely hidden. There we go. You can basically put a little donation sign here. So right under here, you're going to put another set of stairs. So it'll slide down as they're dropping in. At the bottom here, we're going to add some storage chests. So let's go over here, and then we're going to make a little pathway so that you can get to your donations. What I would also recommend is maybe plow this area so that stuff isn't growing on the grass. So we're going to go and add some conveyors and stuff to this bottom here. Wall this in so stuff can't fall out. So it'll be like that. Let's get that out of here. And now let's go ahead and build our grass walls. I like using grass a lot because, you know, one, it does have the natural look, and two, it's cheap. It's super cheap. And then let's go ahead and put this down. There we go. And then now we need our industrial chests. So let's go put 3 industrial chests down. And let's put some in conveyors too, just because sometimes big stuff doesn't really work very well with that. So let's go do that. There we go. And then we're going to put some grass blocks down again. Let me grab my plow because we're going to plow the top of it. Yeah, there we go. So now that is pretty secure. So stuff should not pop out. But now what I want to do is I want to plow this so stuff doesn't grow on it. Now you probably want to have some kind of stairs or something to be able to get up and down. So let's go ahead and do that so we don't have to do that later. So you can kind of step down here and then come back up. So that is pretty much the donation area. Now we need to put some signs so people know it's a donation area. Let's put a little sign there. So it says donations. So donations, thank you, donations. Okay, and let's plow that. Okay, that looks good. And then what you could do is you can set up the little path again. So you want to show that there's something there, right? So you put a little path there. So right in the middle of my recording, they updated the game with a ton of furniture. So I actually made all that furniture. And so we're going to be able to integrate some of that furniture into this design. So we're going to put our lights here. We'll put one right here, there. And then I need to make a couple more. So since this is our work area, I wanted to make some fluorescent lights in there. So let's go make a couple more real quick. And we're going to stick those in there, since that, again, this is like our work area, so it looks cool. And then we got some pebble things. So we got some pebble rocks now. So let's go add some pebbles. Just kind of scatter them about so it doesn't look kind of forced. The oak walkway is kind of cool. I like that. That looks actually really cool. We can put the bench outside. That'd be kind of cool. A little bench right there, hanging out with the cow. So next we got to continue on our flower bed. So I was going to actually do a floating island all the way up there. I've decided against that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do something a little different here. I want it to be up above the tree line so people can see a floating island, but not so high that it gets crazy, you know? Like, I think it'll be about right here. If I can see them, they can see this. So that's why I wanted to do it this way. We're just going to kind of draw like a random shape here, and it doesn't need to be too big. We can always expand it, and we can even add like a little fake waterfall to it, kind of like my old island. I might even do that because I got so many blue blocks. I might as well do it. You can put it in a little square if you want to. I'm not going to hold that against you. You can do that if you'd like. It's pretty subtle, but it's going to be noticeable. You're going to see it come down right there, right? So that's the island itself. Now we're going to actually do the base of it. All right, so the floating island is done, so we can get rid of this stuff. And then I'm gonna add a waterfall to it. And I need to go inside this because I made it hollow with grass. You're gonna need to plow all this. So anytime you do hollow stuff, just make sure you plow it so you don't have a bunch of flowers growing in here and stuff. Now we need to add a waterfall. I think I'm gonna do a diagonal waterfall here. So it's gonna come off on the side here. So let's go ahead and add our flower bed here, and I'm only going to do a couple flower types. So I usually work with red, so I'm going to go and do hyacinths, yellow fertile hyacinths, because I don't really need much of anything else here. Might as well do some daffodils too, so we can get some fertile daffodils in here, and then hibiscus as well. Let's make some purples. There we go. So we'll leave those for now. So that's our farm for our flowers, and then we do need a drill set up for our gold. So remember, I got my gold locations are pretty close to each other, so that's perfect. Let's go ahead and set up our gold drill. And so we got our flower farm, we got our cow area, we got our vending area, we got our storage, we got lots of things here so far for us. We got our donation area, and we got our tree farm. So if I need trees of any type, I don't have any hickory out, but so far they haven't had a need for hickory, so that's good. Once we put the drills on this, we're going to send them to each other. Let's get the drill on this one. All right, so this is not going to fit, so I'm going to need to back these out. Okay, there we go. And then right here, we're going to need, right under that is going to have to be a conveyor, so we can power this guy, a totem. There we go. And we can block this a bit more. All right, so now we're going to go downwards with this. So it's going to drop down, but before I do that, I need to see where the other one's going to go. So let's go figure out our other drill here. Now you would never know they're actually here. So that looks good. So this is going to go down with stairs. Okay, so let's get some stairs. Go bring this down. Let's do the other side. All right, so we're going to catch these down here, and we're going to send them this way. So it's going to drop down, and then it's going to drop down straight into a bucket like that. This one's going to do the same. And then this is going to be a conveyor, and then this one right here, pretty much conveyor through here. And it's not going to travel for very long because right after that, we go straight into a smelter. And then we're going to fuel it right here with some coal. We're going to plow this stuff so it doesn't grow grass. All right, and then we're going to seal this up. Okay, so that's going to drop down there. Now I just got to seal the sides, and then I'm going to put the smelter down. I'm going to go ahead and start working on the smelter now. So let's get that path going. So we're powered now, and stuff is going to start cooking here. And then I'm going to use some input output chests on this because sometimes I forget to check my stuff, and we're in good shape here. And you can also add, if you want to add some iron, you can do that too. So like if you just want to do something like this, you can do that. Now we got to fix the gold slide here. So I'm just going to use glass for this because I have a lot of it. Path on the sides for blocking this in so that it stops busting out. I'm gonna do the same on this side. So now we're gonna actually do our iron farm and steel farm right next to this one, so that we don't have to like travel very far. In fact, what we could do is we can create a little tunnel system if we wanted to, like a little drop point, so that way we can come down here anytime we want. So I can actually make a little passageway in here that drops you down like this. So you wouldn't even know. You would just look at that and be like, what is that? Put some brick on it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to drop down right here. So the exit is like right here. So you're going to draw a line straight in, come right here, and it's going to just be right there. So that is 1, 2 blocks over. Okay, so it'll be 1 and 2. All right, let's go try it out. So come in here, drop down, and go check your stuff. Okay, that works good. And we can actually make that an owner door too. So I'll make that an owner door. So now we can do another farm over here. So this is just gonna be our iron farm, and then we're gonna do a steel farm. Now the steel farm, I'm not doing anything extravagant with it. just as a reminder, I don't really need a whole lot of steel, but when I do for like parts and stuff, and you're going to need it eventually too, you just need to be able to make sure you're producing some, and you can always scale it. You can also check out my auto steel farm video. If you want a really robust auto steel farm, you can actually do it from here still too. You can just go downwards, but I've linked that in the description so you can check that out. And what it's going to do is I'm actually going to set up a steel press. You don't need to set up a steel press for yours. I'm going to do it for mine because we use those for conveyors, right? So you need those conveyors. Might as well do it so you don't have to use an anvil. Steel press does not need any kind of power or fuel, but we need to make sure we are putting this guy connected to that, because as soon as we are done making our steel, it's going to go straight to that steel press. But ideally, you're going to have a lot more steel mills going. I just don't need that many because I don't really need them. But you need a bunch of steel rods to make those conveyor belts. So that's why we have a steel press, and we're going to put a steel rod mold in there. And one other thing I would say is definitely get an obby flag here. So if you fall off like this, you don't have to like keep, you know, coming back. Eventually, I'm going to actually make this a lot more complicated. I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible for you. You know, at a minimum, you need the steel mill, an output chest or an industrial chest, and a smelter so that you can actually make, you know, iron and stuff for the steel. But my actual build is going to be a lot more complicated than this. Now that that's done, so that's pretty much the steel mill. We're going to make an iron farm as well real quick, so I can pretty much just come over here and grab all the stuff that I need on a regular basis. We're also going to make a coal farm because I do need coal blocks, and I don't need a whole lot though, so I'm going to show you how basic that's going to look. All right, so let's go ahead and get our last chest here, and then we're going to put another chest right here. That will be for our coal farm, and this should be plenty for our coal farm because again, we're not going to be checking this too often, so it's going to fill up pretty fast. And over here, we're going to want to set up some input output chests again because it's going to fill up really fast with iron. And then we need a smelter. There's our smelter, and we don't need a whole lot here either because it's going to fill up too fast. So let's just go ahead and do this. There's our coal, and then we need our iron. And now we got our iron farm, our coal farm, our steel farm, and our gold farm. So we already got 13 gold here. That's working really well. You do not need copper. You don't need copper drills. Save your drills. Save your time. So that solves all of our factory related items. All right. One other thing that I forgot to mention that you may want to create is a cry-iron farm. And that's only if you think you're going to need cry-iron. You know, otherwise you can just go buy it. But having your own cry-iron farm is a pretty nice, you know, setup. I have tons of videos showing you how to do a cry-iron farm. So I'm going to actually link the best one in the description so you can check that out. It does not require millions of coins. It just takes a little bit and you can continue to expand it. So I think it costs maybe like maybe like a couple 100,000 or so, maybe tops 1 million coins for a good one. And, but the one I did in the video is kind of extreme. So you don't actually need to do one like that. All right. The next thing I would recommend is a storage area. And so you can actually do that in a couple places. One is, you know, you could put it in your house area. So if you have space in here, and I've got plenty of space in this place. I don't currently use storage chests, but you know, you definitely want to set them up. And so you can kind of see what we're talking about here. I'm not really sure, but for some reason it's not letting me put it against the wall. That's weird. I've never had that issue. It needs space now. It used to not be like that. Something happened. Interesting. So anyway, well, I guess you need a little bit more space than that. So you'll need to do something like this, I guess. And then you can just stick all the stuff that you don't really use. Like I said, I don't really use them. I like to keep everything in my inventory. I don't know why. We do need a showcase area. So we're going to build a showcase area now. We can put all of our showcase items in here, like trophies and things that we get. All right, so this entrance is going to be like right here, and double doored walkway is going to be the same. Kind of a small room. We're going to need some more space here. So we're going to use some slabs. There we go. So we got plenty of windows in there. That looks pretty good. Let's fill this up. All right, and then we are going out one. It looks like we're going out one. Yeah, one out. Okay. All right, let's add some glass panes. This one needs to be extended out a little bit more. And let's make sure the deck is going all the way to the furthest covering like that. All right, looks pretty cool. Let's get our glass in. So we're gonna make it come out right there. And the best way to do this, if you wanna position these blocks, because it's kind of a pain, just grab any kind of block and just build it against it like that. And then you're gonna position your planks on top of that, because otherwise it's a big pain. So you're gonna do something like that, and then just get rid of the blocks you built against. And then inside here, we're gonna put our showcase. So here's where our trophies and stuff are gonna go. So we got this guy, Okay, got this one. There's that one. And then we're gonna put another trophy here. But this one's so small. I think this needs to go on top of something. Actually, let's put it on orange. It looks more orange than gold. It looks a little bit better. We'll add some lighting to that a little bit later. We have a display tank. We can put that in here. Maybe just put a bunch of those in there. There we go. I don't think we have a fish tank, do we? No, we don't have a fish tank. Put a mini pond. We can put this thing. So you could pretty much put whatever you want in your showroom. You could even put like floating stuff if you want, but that's pretty much up to you what you want to put in there. You can put like carpet, like red carpet would be pretty cool in here. So you can kind of just do like, you know, like red carpet in the middle here. That'd look neat. I don't have enough on me or else I would do it. The only thing that we're missing here is an obby, which would be pretty cool. I can put a little start flag here and just do a little obby from here. And then you can make it so they have to jump across to get to the finish. Put a little finish flag there. There we go. And then we'll put a little leaderboard back here, right there. And now you got your obby. So that's a little obby you can do. You can make yours as complicated as you want. I'm not going to make mine complicated. So I'm pretty happy with this build. It gives me pretty much everything that I need. So I really hope this guide will actually help you come up with a really cool looking island and know what to build in your island, because a lot of you, like I said, don't really know where to start, don't really know what you should build, and you're probably spending a lot of time on stuff you don't actually need. And in this case, there's a lot of stuff you don't even need the water here, you don't need this bridge and all that stuff, but I'd really suggest you trying to express yourself through your creation. So come up with something cool that you're going to be proud of. You know, that way you can actually continue to build your island and make it look cool and be proud of it when you share it with others. And it doesn't have to look like a work of art. So, you know, you don't have to have all this stuff. As long as you're happy with your island and you have the stuff that you need for new updates, that's what's important. So I do hope this video does help you with figuring out what you need to do in islands. And if you found this video to be helpful to you, please hit that like button and smash the subscribe button if you're new. And I will see you all tomorrow.